Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to the Usurper's Throne. Yes, this is the kingdom of King Kaine. That kind of works. Well, King Kaine, a Tier 12 account from the guild ZRO, has invited us into his throne room to take a look around and do an episode of Ark'z. On today's episode, we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to jump into the commanders, we're going to check their gear, we're going to check his research, then we're going to check his army, and we're going to find out exactly how much this account is worth. So, this is what we know now. And this is... it's not going to work. I want to add that scene in so bad, but it never fits. This scene. Okay. KingKane is a longtime member of the channel, but weird tidbit about KingKane. I was talking to him in the pre-show interview, and he told me that the reason he started playing was because he was recommended one of my original bullet videos on YouTube. He was watching videos, an advertisement for one of my videos came up. 7 Pirates used to promote my videos. And apparently he watched one of those videos and downloaded the game because of my video. So that's the first time I've ever heard. If anyone ever wondered, does anyone actually watch these videos and start playing? Apparently there's one guy, at least one. So that's kind of cool. That was kind of a cool story, I thought. So yeah, KingKane, thanks for letting us do this, guys. Let's jump into it. First off, do we think he's another Filthy Vega main? It seems like everyone's a Filthy Vega main, but I'm starting to think maybe he's not, but I don't know for sure. So let's start off with commanders. Let's go right into commanders. Well, 170 million, 168 million. God, he's remote. You know, he's very, very close. 168 million. That is remarkably close to my own power level, so I don't want to reveal too much about how much this account is worth, but that may be inevitable. Okay, so it looks like an infantry account, right? Wow, the big 4, except for the X, because the X sucks. Looks like he's got Stella, Gilly, Elixir, and Neko. Elixir is kind of like a version of Stella, definitely double strike. I like Elixir a little better than the X, but that's up for interpretation. So let's jump into it. I'm guessing Commander number 1's the main? It is. Oh, I don't know. 100,000 leadership, Stella account. Wow, level 40 gear. Level 40 gear is about $1,000 a piece, and then level 35 gear, about $300 a piece. So level 30 to 35 is about $300 a piece. So you can tell right away he's got some serious gear, but we'll get into that later. He's running. This probably isn't his main. 100,000 leadership's not that much, so I'm guessing maybe he's a Gilly or Neko main. Another 100,000 there. Elixir 65,000. The skills aren't maxed, so Gilly's skills are maxed. Okay. And she's awakened. Interesting. Awakened with crit with her, too. Very nice. The defensive play. Awakened with resistance weakened. Interesting. And then he's awakened. God, he's running 3 commanders awakened. That's absurd. And he's running a super dodge Neko. So 340,000 Neko, 100,000 Vega, or Gilly, excuse me. Vega. So used to saying Vega. And a 40,000 Full Metal. Shout out to Full Metal. Oh, man. Okay. Definitely a good Full Metal build, but that's not what we're interested in. He's looking like an infantry account. I'm guessing this is a Neko main, but you know, he mentioned to me that he was in limbo, and this is what he meant. He is in limbo on commanders. He fully hasn't committed. So 340,000 here, 100,000 on Stella, 100,000 on Gilly, and then 65,000 there. I mean, basically, he's got 300,000 leadership locked up in 3 smaller commanders, and then 340,000 on his main, and then another 40,000 here. So you're looking at a 700,000 leadership account, but less than half of that leadership is on his main. That's interesting. Well, just about half. I don't recommend doing this. You can't do one slot bust as efficiently with Nekajiro especially. That seems to be his main here. You can't hit somebody as hard to zero them or pillage them as hard if your leadership is spread out. So he's probably kind of where a lot of infantry commanders are right now, is where do we go from here? The Season 8 Galactic Battle has begun. We are in Week 4. The patch last week changed everything, And a lot of players are standing by saying, before I commit to anything, let's see where this season goes. Last week really didn't show us much. We're still getting our feet. We're still figuring out the meta. So it looks like that's what we got here. We'll get into that later on. But let's talk the value of the gear. All right. Well, let's talk the leadership. The leadership, 700,000. That's about 15,000 worth of magazines. $15,000 in leadership. All right. Then we'll go to gear. There's 1,000 there, 1,000 there, about 2,500 on Stella, 1,000, half, about, call it 4,000, about 5,000, 30, 36,000, 30, 7,000 in gear. So, okay, 15,000 in leadership, 7,000 in gear. All right, we're not looking too deep, not too deep. 22,000, only 22,000 real dollars if you wanted to build this this lineup right here. Let's check his other commanders here to see if there's any leadership banked away. Here we go. Here's a 10,000 plasma, not currently in the lineup, so he doesn't use a plasma bomb. I'm a big fan of plasma, especially as an infantry main. If I were you, KingKane, I would get together with some more A plasmas, bring them to S class, and get some use out of combat plasma, especially in the galactic battle now. Plasma is going to be useful. So get some use out of that plasma. So, yeah, I mean, listen, KingKane, right? He is the usurper lord. And the reason he's the usurper is because he's the biggest guy that's not in the main guild. And he's a king. So, DDD, or Cha Queeser, was their former name. Some say it was SSS. They're a multicultural, massive Chinese guild, but definitely mostly Chinese, which seems to be the case in this game in a lot of servers. But they definitely do have English players. I mean, look through this lineup. You can see a lot of English players. So we're in the Usurper Guild. This is KingKane's Guild ZRO with his best friends Slate and Shooter. And, I'm sure the Satanic Mummy's here. I hear Anubis circles this guild, or he's around. A lot of popular players in this guild, and they're just holding it down, fighting off the inevitable Chinese, I guess. I don't want to make it about Chinese. I think bringing race and nationality into it, probably not good for the community because we're all multicultural guilds, but it kind of just seems like that sometimes. But, all right, should we get into research? Let's get into research. No politics. No politics. All right, the research tab, and then we'll go into the army to find out how much he's got in troops, because that seems to be where all the money is tied up. So his infantry, oh, wow, okay. So his research max isn't complete for airships. It is for walkers, and not the tier 8 stuff. So he's missing a few airship researches. I would definitely get both of these. It's crit. It's not that big of a deal, but crit wither is a thing, and it's worth getting. And it's free power points. Looks like his other stuff is all maxed out, as expected. And then let's do advanced development real quick. Yeah, okay, so he's got parts and food done. Nice. He doesn't have Exile. I like Exile because it kicks ships out of Centicon that are around Centicon, not necessarily in Centicon, but he does have Force Field. That's nice. All right, so nothing too crazy money-wise. This is where it gets wild. The Advanced Research tab. Here we go. So he's got Tier 9, Tier 9, Tier 9. Infantry to level 9. Advanced Infantry level 9. Ouch. That's expensive. That's probably a $2,000 minimum right there. Maybe $2,000 or $3,000 just in crystals alone. Advanced Walker, Airship Walkers all required to get to Tier 10. He has Tier 10 Infantry right there. Tier 10 Infantry and no Tier 10 or airships or walkers. So from here forward, which is weird because he has a full metal. Full metal requires airships or walkers at Tier 9. So I don't know why his full metal. Maybe he's just holding on to full metal just in case. I don't know. But it's because he has Tier 11. Duh. All right, 5. 6, he's got the Hyperspace 6, which is the Mastery, which is the most important one in the game, and Transcender. So he has Tier 12 Infantry. So he is just over the hill with me, or compared to me, excuse me. And that makes this account research value around, I would say 15,000. Less than 30,000, not more than 25, around 15 to 20,000 at this date in the game, because some of those unlimited crystals are more farmable now. So yeah, 7,000 in gear, 15,000 in leadership, and then another 15, 20,000. We're getting near the, 40,000, 50,000 range. Let's see how much Tier 12. This is what it really comes down to is we could go from being a $40,000, $50,000 account to double that if his guild has been funneling resources to him. But he's only got 300,000 leadership on his main. So let's go into Ace, and let's click on troops. Biggest commander is Neko. Here we go. Oh, we're short, ladies and gentlemen. We're quite short. So let's see exactly how much we got. 1133. So, for those keeping math at home, one slot of tier 12, an entire slot for a maximum leadership commander, which is about 1.7 million leadership, is $40,000. He has a 340,000 leadership commander, which is about 1/5 of the maximum, and he's got 2 slots total. So 80,000 times 0.2. $16,000 worth of troops if you had to spend real money. But he's also got tier 11 and tier 12. So what's interesting about this account, compared to the other episodes of Ark'z we've seen, this is a pretty balanced account. I think this is more what most accounts that are a year to 2 years old look like, that have spent a significant amount of money, over 5 to 10,000. They're getting close to tier 12. They have a huge guild behind them that are helping push them. They have a bunch of level 30 gear, but they haven't full on blown like $40,000 on a credit card to build a massive army. They're building him up naturally. He's probably fighting a lot. He's probably losing troops now and again, especially when your name is the king, especially when you're in the number 2 guild, especially when you're constantly fighting against a guild like DDD or CHA. So that's what we're looking at. No, we've got a $16,000 army on top of $15,000 worth of leadership, on top of $7,000 worth of gear, on top of $20,000 worth of research. Did I do that math right? 56,000, 56000. Is that about right? If not, you'll let me know in the comments below. I never do math in videos. Let's go take a look at that army a little bit closer. So, meat shield wise, 33 million rangers, massive. 450,000 tier 2, bunch of tier 3, skip tier 4, which makes sense, and then a ton of tier 5. Maybe that's for mobilization. And he's got a ton of tier 10 and tier 11 still. So that might be why he doesn't have max transcenders yet. He's still in limbo, and he needs a ton of resources to evolve 3,700 tier 11 to tier 12. I'm going to show you just how ridiculous evolving that many is. But first I want to show you, look at this. He's got 3-piece here, 3-piece here, 3-piece gems, 3-piece socket here. He's actually got some really nice gems in his gear. Those gems are worth at least $500 a piece. Those are not easy to get. They take a lot of work on the mobilization weekend. He's got 3 of them. So, there's an extra $1,500 you can't avoid. There's no cheap way to get those. But very nice gear. As far as gems are concerned, I didn't really go into that build because it seems like he's still in limbo, but he should be Gemini Sagittarius here. Remember, Gemini stacks with Sniper. Did they change that? Because Gemini and Sniper stack. Gemini is the most important gem. It's better than Sagittarius. So you might want to change that up, KingKane. You might get a little more value out of Gemini there. I get why you're doing the Virgo or Aries. Wow, you should do Virgo instead. Maybe that's not his main gear. Maybe that's kind of backup gear, his Stella gear. This might be his main gear. Yeah, this is his main gear. It's on Stella. Okay. All right. Yeah. Andromeda, Gemini, Sagittarius. Does he have 4 3-piece? That's amazing. Oh, that is awesome. Very cool. So he uses Gemini in one weapon, and he uses Sagittarius in the other, and then he uses the Andromeda. What, 1 and 2? Is that what the weapons are called? And then the 3-piece for the rest of the Andromeda. That is very cool. Dude, that is an awesome build. That's exactly what I want to do on my infantry main. This is perfect, man. You take the damage reduction plus the Andromeda's penetration bonus there, and then Gemini Sagittarius for the huge hits, survivability with the Fearless Pants and the Wrath from the Stars, and the Shadow for the massive HP defense resistance weaken. This is the modern infantry build, and you can go anywhere with this. So if the meta shifts to Satalia and it totally says you cannot have damage anymore, you have to go penetration, that means you drop the Titans, take Stella, and just start hitting super hard again. Or let's say Satalia's attack sucking skill doesn't turn out. You go back to Nekajiro, put that same gear on him, keep the Titans in, and then rely on that massive sniper Gemini Sagittarius Crusher. I love where this account is at. It's kind of where my account wants to go. I'm just kind of on the fence. Do I go Neko or do I go Gilly? And knowing that KingKane is kind of watching the channel and keeping an ear to the ground, he's probably going to do something similar to what I do. So, he's a few months ahead of me. I'll be tier 12 soon enough, but I'm watching kind of what he's doing here because I think he's onto something. So very nice build. All right, let's end this video on just a scary note for all those smaller players out there that have no idea how ridiculous this game is. In order to get all of his tier 10 and tier 11 evolved up to tier 12 so he can use them, because tier 12 is better than everything else, he needs to convert not only all the tier 10 to tier 11, but then all the tier 11 to tier 12, which is almost 7,000, actually more than 7,000 troops. So just for half of that, 3,500, it's going to cost, he can't even do it. He can only do 200 at a time. He needs to do 3,700. In order to do 100 of them, he needs to do this 37 more times. He needs to spend 84 million. 84 million. He needs to do it 84 million food, 84 million parts, 16 million cash, and then 100 hyperspace crystals. He needs to do that 37 more times. Luckily, don't worry, it's not that bad. When the buy one get one troop event comes around, you can do it half as many times. So you only have to do that 18 times. You want to know how much that is in resources? Let's call food, parts, and cash all worth the same, okay? So that's 84 times 84. Oh. That's 84 plus 17. 185 million per troop, just in resources total. Now we got to do that 17 more times. 3 billion. 3 billion. And then he's got to evolve all the tier 10 to tier 11, and then those from tier 11 to tier 12. Big boy game. Thanks, KingKane, for letting us all take a look inside of your ship, what it looks like to just pass the cusp of tier 12. Very interesting. I love what you're doing with your infantry builds. I wish you did more with plasma, but that's for you to decide and for the meta to really dictate, right? Special shout out to Slate and Straight Shooter. Without you guys, KingKane wouldn't have come this far. Of course, there's a bunch of other honorable mentions, but I just can't name all of you. So Moonraker, Satanic Mummy, thank you very much. Even Anubis gets a shout out. He was mentioned in the pre-episode interview. But that's it. That's the end of this video. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. There's 40% of you are still not subscribed. Is there any stones unturned? Okay, apparently there is a bunch of posters of cake and fat chicks all over the inside of his Ark. I'm looking for them, boys. I'm looking. All right.